It's time now, if you would indulge me, for a different kind of diagnosis, one of a sickness that is even more pervasive than COVID-19. I want you to witness the virulence in real time. President Trump holding a rally that represents everything experts that he picked say not to do. The negation of everything you just spent an hour with Sanjay and Anderson hearing about as helpful and necessary. He's going to a state with rising cases that just saw its largest single-day jump in cases. A state where the health experts are worried about a mass, unmasked gathering. And he is going to do exactly what creates the most risk there. Masks, optional. Social distancing, optional. Please come. All of you come. Let's have a huge crowd. But Trump is asking everyone who enters to support him to sign a release that he is not responsible if anything happens as a result of everything he's asking them to do for him. He asks you to come to what he knows he shouldn't, tells you the only things that help are optional, and then wants you to make sure he has no responsibility. In this, you have the perfect example, a metaphor of the malady and of the madness that has made a mockery of the Trump presidency. One set of rules for the Donald, another for you. Another example, look what happens around him in the White House. Oh, there are a couple of cases. Everyone wears a mask. Everyone gets tested. All cases are traced thoroughly, but not for the rest of you. Those he looks down upon at a rally or just living in this country, no need to be careful. That's weakness. His presidency is riddled with his own self-interest. He literally went to the Supreme Court hoping for a ruling that Obama was wrong to help dreamers the way he did, and thought they would just miss the fact at the court that he has no plan to help them, even though he promised to. He lost at the Supreme Court. Again, why? Because in America, rules matter. In America, we surrender the me to the we. In America, the highest interest must always be justice, not just Trump. Trump called the defeat a shotgun blast to the face. This, the same man who said all this.
We are going to deal with DACA with heart.
I have a love for these people.
We want DACA to happen.
Lies. Period. He wants to kick more than 200,000 frontline workers, including 27,000 who are in healthcare, out of the country in the middle of a pandemic. Why? Because he thinks it will be a promise kept to his base. But his presidency and its marginal popularity is proof you can no more cater to just a base than you can hope to win again by just being base, by dividing, lying, and defying the command of leadership and responsibility that falls squarely on the shoulders of the highest leader in the land. And taking responsibility is just something this administration and this man refuse to do. Another example, the administration refuses to take responsibility for the growing number of coronavirus cases. And by the administration, I mean the president. He looks at the map that you see and he says, not me. Again, why? Because the president sees reopening as good for him. Reopening at any cost so that it doesn't cost him. But the truth is evident in the pain. Hospitals are filling up at critical rates. They're hurt as another 1.5 million of our brothers and sisters find themselves out of work. And the numbingly harsh coronavirus death tolls. The deaths that this president doesn't even talk about anymore. Today's Supreme Court decision, along with the earlier one this week to protect LGBTQ workers from discrimination. Remember, he promised to be a champion for that community. It's all proof that he has never been about fairness for any group that doesn't favor him. But a president must fight for fairness or fail. And Trump's stubborn silence on systemic bias has been stunning as we see streets filled all over this country with those who demand better than his deference to division and his obvious and ugly attempts to play you as Americans for fools. The man who planned a rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the site of a horrible massacre, on Juneteenth, and then refused to acknowledge what sent so many to the streets. Now he wants you to believe that he did a good thing. He made Juneteenth famous. He made Juneteenth famous. That, quote, nobody had ever heard about it until now. So he thinks his rally schedule was a good thing. But here's the truth. You know who had no clue about Juneteenth? Him. He admitted they didn't think about it when scheduling the rally because he'd never heard of it. And his people had to tell him they'd put out statements marking the day before this year. Too many are now painfully aware of his ignorance and his arrogance. And that is the deadliest and most dangerous combination in leadership, ignorance and arrogance. Like when he said he did us all, including President Obama, a favor with the birther bigotry. Or his latest propaganda. Did you see this? Garbage. An inverted triangle symbol. Gee, where have we seen this before? Oh, right. The Nazis used it to mark political opponents. These are all symptoms of what ails Trump's administration. All the dog whistles, all the injustice, all the irresponsibility, all the division. It's all about him and his, not about you, not about yours. This is a truth laid bare by John Bolton's book, with claims Trump asked for China's help with re-election, that he said to China it was okay to build internment camps for Muslims. He defended the murder of a journalist to cover for his daughter. Why? Because he wants to serve a second term. And he even thought invading Venezuela would be cool. That's his word. That's what Bolton says in the book, and that's why it's racing up the Republicans' do not read list faster than POTUS's Twitter feed. It's a story we've heard time and time again, what Bolton says. John Kelly, Jim Mattis. A truth that is painfully obvious to anyone if you have an open mind. The only question is whether what got him here will get him to another term. And here's the good news. He can't control that. Only you can. Just see the situation for what it is.